The vessel is a bridge. Conflict always cloaks itself in the tangible. When a whisper of strife, be it anger, envy, or fear, slips into your thoughts, you start to see yourself as merely a vessel, a fragile frame of bone and breath. That's the small self's lens, the ego's narrow tale of what you are. You don't need to swing a fist or draw a blade to fall into this trap. The moment you believe that tension can hand you what you desire, power, safety, triumph, already nodded to this illusion. If that belief didn't hum in your chest, the pull of conflict would dissolve like dew under a rising sun. But tie yourself to this vessel alone, and a shadow creeps and a quiet ache, a dimming of the spirit. A spark of the divine, when it shrinks itself to fit this mold, doesn't just dim its own light. It casts others in the same faint glow. And since your essence reflects in them, you've locked yourself away from the wide open sky of freedom. Now, imagine a different current, the sacred breath, the unseen pulse that binds all things. It doesn't see the vessel as a wall or a weapon, but as a bridge, a living thread to weave souls together. As the conduit linking the divine to its scattered reflections, the sacred breath takes every tool you've shaped and bathes it in its own clarity. The small self builds fences through the vessel, slicing the world into me and them. The sacred breath flows through it, reaching out to others, whispering of oneness. You don't yet see your kin as this current does, tangled as. You are in the surface flesh, form, limits missing the vessel's truer call, to unite minds, yours and mine and theirs. Shift that gaze and the vessel's worth flips entirely. On its own, it's a hollow reed, a shell without a song. When you wield the vessel as a battering ram, you bruise yourself most deeply. But when you lift it as a lantern to touch those who think they're only frames, to show them they're vast beyond measure, you'll feel the boundless strength thrumming within you. Dedicated to this alone, to bridging, and it can't twist into a tool of harm. In the dance of connection, it becomes a radiant lesson in unity, a chord struck clear and true, echoing until unity is all that remains. This is the divine's way of untying the knots you've bound yourself with. The sacred breath doesn't. Squint at the vessel through your clouded lens. It knows a thing's only reality lies in the purpose it serves. The role the divine has breathed into it. Connection melts distance. Conflict carves it deeper. The vessel can gleam or glower, soothe or strike, lift or crush, all hinging on how you steer it. Look into another's frame, and you'll catch a mirror of your own choices. Offer this vessel to the sacred breath as a channel for weaving souls, and you'll see past the fleeting shell to its essence. Steer it toward truth, and its clarity will dazzle you like sunlight on still water. Twist it astray, and you'll wander in fog, blind to what's real because you've already veered off by twisting it first. Step beyond the sacred breaths. Vision and mistrust takes root, sprouting bitterness, sparking strife, snuffing out peace. Yet every loss you mourn springs from your own misstep. Nothing can truly fade away. When you shrink another to a mere shell, their strength and radiance slip from your grasp, and so does yours. You've aimed a blow at them, but it landed on your own heart first. Don't trap them in that dim corner of your mind, for your freedom rests on theirs. Lift them from that smallness, and you'll rise too. They're part of you, sacred as you're a part of me. To reach toward the divine itself, through the voice stitched into your being, is to stretch beyond this fleeting realm to its source. Rejoice in this. Alone, you're a whisper carried off by the wind. You don't stand apart. The one who cradles you has poured power and radiance into you, a gift to fulfill a sacred intent when you claim it as yours. That gift hasn't dimmed. You've only turned your face from its light. Let no spark of the divine stay shrouded, for their essence is yours, and your name echoes in theirs. The old words murmur, the thought took on form. It's a paradox. How can a breeze harden into stone? It can't, not truly, unless you will it, so for thoughts aren't chained to weight or shape. Yet they're the threads of connection, and the vessel can carry them like a river bears a message. That's its truest rhythm. To bend it elsewhere to hoard or harm is to muddy the sacred breath's design and lose the trail of its teaching. Nothing stings a seeker more than a path they can't walk. When the way feels barred, their spirit bows low, pressed by a sense of lack. That's the heaviest weight in this world, and it's why the air here can feel thick with gray. The sacred breath's path, though, is a melody of light. It never falters. If your steps sink into shadow, it's because you've lost sight of the trail's true aim. Even here, the vessel is splintered, its purpose hacked into jagged shards that don't fit, a chaos spun by the small self's hand. But guided by the sacred breath, it flows whole again. It becomes a quiet stream, ferrying the part of you that drifted back to its source. What the small self once claimed as its brittle throne transforms into a haven for the sacred breath, where loyalty shifts from the fleeting to the eternal. In this, the vessel becomes a dwelling for the divine, its voice humming through, shaping every step it takes. Healing blooms from wielding the vessel as a bridge alone. It's the natural way mending by making whole the pulse of all that is. Every mind is one, and to imagine it split half flesh, half free is a fractured story, a sickened dream. Mind can't be caged in form, but it can shine through it, reaching beyond itself like roots through soil. When it stalls at the shell, it falters, opening the door to harm by curling inward. Clearing those barriers is the only road to aid and renewal, a mind alive through the vessel, not snared within it. If the mind mistakes the vessel for its end, it warps its own sight, blocking its reach and inviting shadow by fostering distance. Seeing the vessel as a lone island can't help but breed sickness, for it's a lie against the current of truth. To weave is to join, to wound is to sever. How can you do both with the same breath and not stumble? The vessel's purpose can only align under one star. This frees the mind from chasing flickering lights and hands it to the one flame where it finds its meaning. Mistake a tool for the destination, and you'll tangle both, a knot that dims understanding. Learning must stretch past the vessel to rekindle the mind's boundless fire. This happens only when the mind reaches out to others, refusing to halt its flow. That halt is the root of all shadow, for only reaching is the mind's true song. Opposite of light is heaviness. When your path breeds weight instead of wings, you're not hearing the divine's joyful guide. To see a vessel as anything but a bridge is to shrink your mind and wound yourself. Wholeness, then, is simply aligned purpose. When the vessel bends to the mind's intent, it becomes one because the mind's aim is singular. Conflict can only be a borrowed mask, for apart from the mind, the vessel has no will at all. You're not bound by this frame, and thoughts don't harden into flesh. Yet mind can ripple through it when it leaps beyond, unshackled by limits. When you see another is trapped in their shell, you chain yourself too. Are you willing to carry that weight when your whole journey is about breaking free? To wield the Vessel as a weapon and expect joy is the mark of a lost traveler, one chasing a mirage that clashes with the path's true call. Light is aligned purpose, and that purpose is the divine's alone. When your sing's in tune, it's theirs. Believe you can disrupt that harmony, and you'll crave rescue. You've shadowed yourself, but shadows aren't of the divine, they're not real. Nor are there echoes. Seeing another as a mere frame condemns them because you've condemned yourself. Yet if all shadow is illusion born of strife, it carries no weight. Don't let yourself ache under imagined burdens. Free your mind from believing they're possible. In their impossibility lies your release. What else would you seek? Freedom from mirages rests in letting them go. There's no wound, only endless weaving, limitless strength and wholeness. That strength is in reaching out. Don't tether your thoughts here, and you'll open your mind to the divine's endless dawn. Vessel as means or end, how you view the vessel shapes how you face conflict. To the small self, it's a tool to strike with, equating you with its frailty. It insists you must wound to win. The vessel's state, then, isn't its own doing. It bends to how you define its stance. Purpose flows from being, but it's not a two-way street. The whole paints the part doesn't sketch the whole. In the shifting sands of perception, the whole is stitched from fragments that drift apart and realign. But knowing the deep, steady kind stands firm. The interplay of part and whole matters only where change flickers. Beyond that, they're one. This world feels like a tug of war, two voices vying for the vessel's reins. In that clash, it seems to pivot between light and shadow, wellness and weariness. The small self muddies the waters, treating the vessel as the prize, not the path. But it's not the end game. When it becomes one, its true rhythm gets lost. You've seen this. Every prize the small self chases leaves you hollow. That's why it flits from want to want, dangling hope like a carrot on a string. Unraveling this knot is tough because the small self clings to conflict as its core. It thrives on shadow. If you're weary, how can you argue you're not fragile? It's a clever trap, dimming the truth beneath layers of doubt. See through it, reject the fight, and the small self's case crumbles. Shadow is just a false echo. You don't see it because it doesn't fit what you truly seek. It seems trustworthy only until you question it. Those who cling to the small self pick their proof with bias. Its witnesses sing only its tune. The sacred breath, though, weighs truth alone, not swayed by allies or agendas. The vessel isn't the goal, it's a means, and the small self's twist hides that clarity. A weary vessel makes no sense unless you buy the small self's tale, but it's for wounding, and you're nothing more. Without that, shadow has no footing. It's a cry to prove you can break, a testament to frailty. The small self needs you to echo. It spins endless fixes to dodge ruin, while the sacred breath sees no ruin to fix, just truth to gather. Tools aren't teachers. The vessel can't tell you your own heart. You've just bought the small. Self's blur and asked a shadow for answers. How can a phantom's voice ring so loud? Desire bends the world. Even illusions gain weight when you will them. You've seen how want warps sight. No one doubts the small self's knack for false tales, or your readiness to hear them until you choose the clear song instead. Lay it down and it fades. The sacred breath's call matches your willingness to turn toward it, never louder, for it guards your freedom, never breaks it. The sacred breath shows you to use the vessel to reach others, letting its message flow through you. This mends them, and so mends you. Used as it's meant, nothing can dim it. Misused, it shadows over. Don't let it mirror a fractured mind or echo your own smallness. Health is its natural state. When the sacred breath steers free of strife, it's the first step to seeing life as it is, guided by the one voice that knows its pulse. Healing is true sight, the sacred breath is the answer, holding the key to every riddle because it sees their roots. The small self spins endless questions, blind to what's real. But you can learn as you weigh its whispers, sharpening your ear for truth. When shadow tempts you, don't ask the sacred breath to mend the vessel. That's the small self's game. Ask instead for clear sight, for only sight can bend or eye. Only sight can shadow over. Crook sight craves what isn't. Truth is gentle, its harmlessness is its essence. And yours when you align with it. You don't chase truth. It finds you when you step into its flow. That step is yours, the rest unfolds. So little is asked, yet that little carries all. Wholeness heals because it's of the mind. All shadow, even the deepest, is a flinch from waking, a clutch to stay asleep. It's a frail bit to dull your senses rather than see. Rest in peace blesses the awake, not the gone rest flows from rising, not drifting. Sleep pulls, back, waking weaves. Dreams twist connection into knots, but the sacred breath can thread them toward light if you let it. Your waking reveals your sleep's master. Heavy dawn means it wasn't the sacred breath's. Only joy marks its touch. Sleep can numb if you bend it to shadow, but neither sleep nor shadow is death. You can't fully fade. Peace rests in waking. Healing swaps fear of light for the will to rise, replacing dread with warmth. The sacred breath doesn't rank shadows. It sorts false from true, planting light where dark stood. The small self splits mind from vessel to weaken it, thinking numbness heals. But you can't unmake what the divine shaped. The small self hates frailty, yet sows it, craving what it despises. It chases strife. The old call urges wholeness, mending all rifts, seeing the vessel as no barrier, and acting in our shared name, not mine alone, for we're one. Our minds are whole in that oneness. If you shadow over, you step back from me, but you can't step back alone. You pull from us both. This path is practical. It asks only what you can give, and I only what you can do. Nothing bars you but your own limits, and the divine sets none. Limit yourself, and we're not aligned. That's shadow, not of the vessel, but the mind. Every rift signals a split will. Aligning that will is the sacred breath's only mending, where meaning heals chaos. Your part is to meet its call. The meaning is the divine's. Your healing feeds its wholeness. You can't know it, but it stands firm, forever its will.